about some games that we played the past couple weeks because we are back. And what else we're talking about? Some gaming news, some gaming moments of the week. Oh, I'm live, baby. I'm live. I told you I'm live. Welcome and thanks for joining episode 23. Always. Like, finally. What are you eating? All I hear is what are we? We're recording this at 12 o'clock at lunchtime, so. Ah, okay. Oh, I cannot do the ginger. I cannot do the ginger, man. But well, I'll say this: it's been a little bit since we did not have a recording last week. We decided to take a little break. We've been recording 22 straight weeks, right? With a podcast because this is episode 23. So we took a week off, decided to kind of hang with the families a little bit, kind of catch up. We had a lot of work going on and stuff. So we're back. We actually got some co-op playing going on. We're here to discuss some gaming news of the week, of some not gaming news of the week, but also gaming moment of the week. And Josh got to play some Hellblade. So for the first time, I told him about it. Now, I had not done that. Oh, yeah. So we're gonna jump into that most definitely. But right off the dot, I say we go ahead and jump into the gaming moment of the week. Let's do it. Great. We're gonna have to go with you, man, with that for the gaming moment of the week. Go ahead and knock it out of the park first. Let you go first this time. The graphics are ridiculous, man, on that game. Yeah. 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 One thing I want to point out when you talk about that, I don't know if you noticed this, but they did a lot of. I think they tout her as like bipolar schizophrenic, right? And they do a lot of care and a lot of touching on the audio on this game, and they do a really good job with the audio to kind of, if you, I don't know if you played it with, you said VR, so it's even more immersive than even I experienced, I'm sure. But if you do the headset, the actual headset, dude, it's out of this world, the sounds you hear while you're going through this world. Yeah. 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 I didn't know they had a VR version. But anyways, definitely guys, if you haven't played Hellblade, play it. Hellblade 2 is coming out here, coming up here soon on Xbox. So it's always a great game. It's usually around 8 hours or so. People complain about it being short, but honestly, I'm okay with it. Man, I'll go into my gaming moment of the week. Obviously, I did a stream earlier on our channel, and It Takes Two is the game. It's like one of the Game of the Year nominees and stuff. Um, yeah, so Gray's played it. He's told me about it. Oh, it actually won Game of the Year. Okay, yeah, and I can see why, because instantly it draws you into it. But Gray told me about it, and I was like, man, that'd be a good game for my daughter that's 13 and me to play. So we both got on the stream and we started playing it, and it's what's so crazy about it is my daughter's got better and better playing the games. Like I don't even have to tell her. She was telling me what to do on some of some of the spots. So she was doing actually really well. And we went through like the first kind of boss that we fight a vacuum cleaner that's mad that see, all these things come to life, and I don't know much more about the game. I won't go into it, but the best moment is was sitting there, and the dad and mom's talking. They give him this sad speech about they're talking about getting a divorce, right? And when they're talking about getting a divorce, the little girl is sad and all that stuff. Well, my daughter's over here on the side, and she says, "Man, they're old. He looks old looking." I was like, "What do you mean they look old?" And it's like they got gray hair. I was like, "I didn't see no gray hair. What are you talking about?" So it was just funny. She makes different kind of comments about the game, and she's looking at different things than what I'm looking at. Like I'm like, "Oh man, that's so sad." And he's like, she's thinking the whole time, "Man, he's old." So, but we had a blast. We both worked together on the game, which I absolutely loved. Actually being her teammate on the game and getting through it, and hopefully we're going to get through the whole game. Because you beat it, right? If I remember correct, you and Raven. Oh, Shell. Oh, what? Oh no. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we definitely are. So that's a big plus on the recommendation scale. I'll say thank you, G Ray. Um, man, with that being said, let's get into the gaming news. All right. So GG rated deals. I like how you had to say that. Make sure. He's smiling like, oh yeah, I'm getting on this show one way or another. I'm getting on it. Ah, ah. What is that? That's a good game. I'll play that game. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Okay. No, I just wanted to talk about one thing. I don't know if you saw the news in reference to Ubisoft. Ubisoft actually came out and made a comment and was talking about the future of games, obviously. And their comment was that they're no longer going to be making physical discs for their games. And they talked about that, people need to get comfortable. And now I'm paraphrasing here. People need to get comfortable with not owning their games, and then that is when subscriptions are going to really take off. And it kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way, because if you put all the power in the company's hands, right? You already see it happening on a lot of these games. They get delisted, right? So I feel like it's gonna be a situation where if they want to get rid of a game and then bring it back up for $70 again just to buy, and you can be constantly rebuying the same game, the same game, the same game. Now we kind of experienced that already with Nintendo. When they go to a new console, most of the time they do a remaster or whatever for the next console, and you rebuy it over and over and over again, right? But the big catch to that is, hey, if you had the physical media on the old game, you can still play that game and not have to buy this $70 new game of the same thing on this new console, right? If you get rid of this physical media, that's no more. So to me, I feel like they're saying like, hey, if you want to pirate, it's okay, because they're getting rid of every other source to be able to do it. Man, it has. Yeah, $70 minimum now, so 60. Mm-hmm.
So I think physical media for now might die, but I believe just like he does, it's gonna make a comeback to where um I don't know, it's just like you look at ebooks, you look at things like that. There are people who still desire that. And I don't think it's ever gonna completely go away, but you
Yeah.
might see a resurgence of a lot of developers doing this until, people start speaking with their wallets and being
Yeah.
like, "Hey,"
Yeah.
but who
Uh,
knows? There's a next generation of gamers out too that might not even give a crap, so
well, I mean, I think that's the issue, is more and more people is starting to not really worry about the physical, because yes, it is convenient to just sit here and turn on your console and click on a game and play it, right? The only problem
Yeah.
is how far does it go, where are we going to do all subscriptions and you don't never own a game? Is that where
Right.
is that okay? I mean, because me,
Mm,
honestly, the only console I collect on, the only console I buy physical on is my Nintendo Switch, right? Because
yeah.
it's portable. There's a lot of games that you're not gonna be able to get. Plus, I know the history of Nintendo. The next console comes
Yeah.
out, they'll do Super Mario Odyssey. You know that game. They'll probably
Yeah.
redo that game. Say, hey, this is gonna be 4K 60, but it's the same game. They add a little features in there. But instead, I can have it on my Switch now, and that's it. Like I can play it anytime I
Yeah.
want to, or I can
True.
emulate it. You know, if I own that game. So,
Yeah.
uh, it's kind of a
What
hard
would
sell. I mean,
stink? Like, one thing that would stink is if they made all digital stuff only playable online. There are a lot of games like that. Like, you can't even open them until it's online. I encountered that when I was playing, not Steep, but the other one, Riders Republic. I believe it's a I don't know if it's an EA game or if it's a Ubisoft game, but anyways, regardless, I like to play a lot of games offline on my Steam Deck, whether I be at work on my lunch break or whatever.
yeah,
And sometimes I have to get the hotspot out, or I have to connect to internet just so that I can open up certain games, which is
yeah.
crazy to play. Like, you don't even need to be online. It's an
You
offline
shouldn't.
story, and it's like they make
Like
you get online so
like
that you can
Starfield.
even play it. Yeah, it's crazy. And with physical media, you never had to worry about that. Like,
No.
you got the game, that's what the game was. Now it's like, even if you do get physical media, it still downloads a bunch of crap onto
I was just about to say that. The
your
only
console.
downfall to having the physical only, right, and not having to
Mhm.
download anything is public, these developers and game companies are now getting used to not completing the game all the way before release. They
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that they can release these games. And I know we're kind of
Mhm.
going off on a little topic here, but I mean, it kind of goes one in one with physical versions, because this is the issue that happens every time a physical version comes out. It's not complete. It's not without a
Mhm.
big patch. What they call is a day one patch, and you put it in there, and it
Yeah.
should play like it used to play on like PS2, PS3, and all, where you put the CD in, and boom, you should be able to play it, right? But now
Yeah.
you put it in, it downloads 40 gigs or more
Mhm.
patches just to make it work. And sometimes it doesn't even work. So if say you're offline, you're all the way in Iraq, I don't know, somewhere that doesn't have much capability for internet, and you get this game and plug it into your console, you're not going to be able to play it because of the patches that's going to have. So even physical media is going downhill in that aspect, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, and there is something lost there too, because it's real. There's a coffee shop that me and my boy like to go to, and they have like a Genesis, and they have some other kind of system that'll play like Super Nintendo games and stuff, and they actually have the physical games there for you to like
Which is
lock
cool.
in and to hit play. Yeah, and it's cool to have that like tactile feel of
Mm-hmm.
actually doing that. Like, he enjoys going in there just to do that. And I don't want that to get lost on the next generation. I really hope that that stuff stays alive, at least with retro games.
And they got some
But
really
we'll
good
see how
games
things pan
too
out.
that they're going to be losing if they do that. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah,
you know.
there's games that I think are lost all the time. That's why you have places like internetarchive.org
Mm-hmm.
or .com or .org. Anyways, it's called Internet Archive, and they try to archive all these things that might get lost in the byways, because
Yeah.
there are certain medias and stuff that do just get lost, So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out. We can think and we can try to guess all day, but the market's crazy. Like, it's liable to just go one
Completely
direction.
software only or subscription only, and force it
Yeah.
upon the the markets. Which, man, I tell you, I can't do another subscription. I'm done with these
No,
subscriptions,
I
man.
don't
They
want to do
add
any more
up.
subscriptions either.
But
Yeah, it's crazy.
with that being said, man, you want to go into the next section and talk a little bit about maybe some Gotham Knights and Hellblade a little bit more? What do you think?
Well, I got one more bit of news I was going to
Oh,
talk about
what
and
you
try to
got?
decipher it a bit with you. So it was a talk. They were talking with Microsoft about their acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and I think the news outlets are kind of reading into this a bit too much. But the headline here is Microsoft can now be a good publisher on Sony and Nintendo and PCs and Xbox. CEO says so. Build great games and deliver them to folks across all platforms. So it's looking like Microsoft is talking about what it's going to look like to develop games that go to all these different platforms and not just theirs. So I was
But
going to
that's been
kind of
their
pick
deal the
your
whole
brain about
time.
it.
That's
Right, but
I looked
let's
into that.
see.
I looked into that,
That's
and
I think
apparently
well,
Xbox
talk about it.
responded. Yeah, yeah, Xbox
Uh-huh.
responded, and especially Phil Spencer, and they are saying they are not going third party. They are staying first party. They straight out
Uh-huh.
said that, but they are doing the fact now that they're still doing the same model that you and me has talked about several times about going PC, going Xbox, and then any other kind of models like the Samsung TV that has Game Pass built into it now, right?
Well,
So
they're also developing games for
yes,
PlayStation too.
for yes, some of the games that's going to be a decision per game is what they said for PlayStation,
Okay.
right? Nintendo,
So
they are
there's
as well because they have such a large platform like Call of Duty. They already stated that part of the deal is they're going to make a Call of Duty for Nintendo, but that's been said since the
okay.
acquisition of Activision. I think people are taking it when you jumble what they said in one sentence. I think it was Nadella, I forget his name, that is over Microsoft, the CEO of Microsoft, he had it
Uh-huh.
all came from an interview that he said saying that they're looking to publish for all these companies now, which has
Uh-huh.
been their mark the whole time. In other words, he doesn't want to do the exclusivity anymore because there's more money in the game. If you get your game on PlayStation and it sells 5 million copies, I mean,
Sure.
you're making your money back on this Activision deal, right? So I think people are taking it like, oh, they're getting out of the first party system, but they also saying that same, and I'm paraphrasing obviously, but not the quote that he does is saying that um it's it's going to Xbox.
So,
So they're saying to Xbox, and it's also going to these other platforms.
mhm.
So if you picking my brain, you asking me about it, I
Yeah.
absolutely do not think they're going to just throw away and just go software only like a Sega did. I don't think that's
No,
going to happen.
I was just thinking like what it's going to look like if they're developing for all these different platforms. Is it going to be like, okay, first these things come out on Xbox and PC, and then eventually, maybe a year later, it can trickle down to Sony? Like, how are the deals going to change? And he just talked about being a good developer for every
Yeah,
platform. It's like, okay, so here's my just this is the main thing I wanted to talk about with this is like, so you look at how great Microsoft has been as far as talking about every other
yeah,
company. They've really went above and beyond to be nice about, oh wow, that's awesome that, Sony has this and that. Like, they've tried to be friends, they've tried to be friendly. But this is a business, and the business is make more money next year than you did last year.
yeah,
And I'm looking at what is it going to look like if they keep developing for every every system, and also in the meantime they keep buying over companies. They might end up
yeah.
having a monopoly on all of this stuff, and Microsoft could own every platform.
So you're really thinking
Like,
that the monopoly? So you're going on board of the monopoly thing?
maybe, and like I say that because if they start coming out with banging games and it's going to be released on every system, and everybody starts to like more and more what Microsoft is doing, like let's just say they start making incredible first party games which are getting even better than PlayStation, which would be hard because PlayStation has some bangers.
Yeah.
Um, but let's just say that starts happening because they have all these different developers that can do this. And so everybody's like, okay, like why would I buy a PlayStation anymore when Microsoft like literally has everything and has more ways to play? I know there's diehard PlayStation fans, but
Yeah.
I'm
But if
just looking
you
at
take
like
away,
what this might look like in about 10 years or so.
I
Like
think I
what
get
is
what
this going
I
to
think
look
I'm
like?
feeling you. Tell me if I'm tracking you here. But PlayStation right now, what they have, can you answer me this? What PlayStation has right now is they have the stories in the single player aspect, right? They have the best single player experiences that you can get on platforms. Is that correct or not? What do you think?
Um I don't know. I don't have one anymore, so I can't tell you,
But
but
I mean, you don't have the how I don't either. Do you believe
yeah.
that like God of War, the Spider Man, the Horizon Zero Dawn, I mean, you can keep naming more and more and more the platform games like Ratchet and Clank, and I mean, you can just name all kinds of things that are exclusive. Final Fantasy, that's
Mhm.
exclusive on PlayStation, right? And I know
L-
Final Fantasy is
Well,
kind of getting
like
away from that a little bit, but
it's different for me because every game that you listed, like they weren't my favorites. So I was like, eh.
yeah, yeah, but I'm talking about in general for the public, not with us. And I
Yeah,
think that's
maybe.
what took the stronghold on the PlayStation 4, obviously just crushed
Mhm.
Xbox, right? And I think it had to do
Mhm.
with what we're talking about now happening with physical media, right? About how they wanted to be
Mhm.
online and they got away from the gaming only aspect to it. I feel
Mhm.
like if you take that and do what you were saying, and Xbox actually starts making these really great games that people are just dying to get to, right? Then
Yeah.
you're going to have that concern of they're just going to swallow PlayStation, or PlayStation might be the actual one that goes third party, right?
Yeah.
Because all this
Well,
money's
you're
going to
seeing
them.
it more and more with everything that they're releasing on the, over like to Steam and things like that. Like there's games, I will say there are games on Sony's platform that I'm still like waiting on, which would be Ghost of Tsushima is one that I've been wanting to play so bad and I'm waiting for it to come to PC. But there's other games that have eventually came to PC and have been really great. And I don't think they can deny that more and more people are going PC. So it's going to be
Yeah,
for their best interest to release them sooner than later onto PC. You
I've
look
thought of,
at Death Stranding is another
yeah,
one that was like I couldn't wait for that to come to PC. So
I've thought about making a
um,
video about that specifically for people because
yeah,
I'm a real life experience here. I was Xbox, I
good,
had a Series X. You was on
yeah,
PC. I was talking to you, and you're like, "Hey, look, you can play." I remember conversations with you, and you saying, "Look,
yeah,
Gino, you can play those games on PC. Let me show you." And you actually had to show me, like, "Hey, this is
uh-huh,
it's not you having to look online and download stuff. Like you get on Steam. It's like a marketplace, just like you have on Xbox and PlayStation." And that's the
hmm
central place. That's what everybody uses. And believe it or not, that's what I thought about making a video of it. Is what you said is God of War and all that stuff that's on PlayStation. Eventually, it does come out. Xbox comes out immediately on PC.
uh-huh,
Along with the Xbox. So I
uh-huh,
have not missed my Xbox at all, because every game that's on Xbox is on PC.
yeah, yeah,
So, and they release them on Steam as well at the same time. So I don't feel like you missed. The only thing you miss is if you want to, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake, the second part is coming out in the next couple weeks,
yeah,
right? I
yeah,
can't, they're not going to release that game maybe ever. They still haven't released the first remake. There's just some games they won't release on PC because PlayStation is still holding out that exclusivity, which will make me
right,
have to buy a PlayStation, right? But
yeah,
other than that, there's no other reason to say why not get a PC, and you have
right,
all the benefits plus more. And that's just my opinion, and I'm a real life experience of that. But yeah, I
Hmm.
think you're right.
I think more and more people too. Like I know there are kids who aren't even up to driving age yet, which have gaming computers, and it's becoming
Yeah.
more and more of a cool thing just to get a PC instead of a console. Listen, I was diehard PlayStation most of my life. Like I had all the PlayStations. I thought they were way better than Xbox because back in the day, you could play on the PlayStation. You didn't have to pay anything. You didn't have to pay a subscription fee, and on Xbox, you always did.
That was
That
huge
was
too,
one
by the way. That
reason.
was
Yeah,
huge.
yeah, it was huge. And now everything is more the same. You have these I tell you what got me to transfer over to Xbox, it was a game. So like usually what I feel like tells people I'm going to buy this or that is the games, and the games are
Hmm.
becoming more available on everything. I switched to Xbox because of Titanfall. Like that's why I bought an
Oh yeah,
Xbox. I
great.
actually bought one used just so I could play that game, and I fell in love with the whole platform.
Let me
So,
say this real quick, just to jump in on that one section you said. I bought a
sure.
PlayStation 3 and a 4 before the whole console just to play MLB the Show, the baseball game. So yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right, but I just had
yeah.
to throw that in there.
So
So I agree with you on that.
no, nice man. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting topic, and I'm very interested to see how it's going to play out because, like, as you get older, these things become interesting, like how these companies operate and everything. To some of the younger crowd that might be listening, this might not be interesting to you, but for us folks that are in our 30s and stuff, like it's interesting.
No,
It's
it
cool.
is
So,
because you're going back to where we came from, what we grew up
yeah,
with, and we discussed this before, so I won't go into it. But we used to just turn it on the system, putting in a game cartridge, and playing the game.
yeah,
But now you have to really think about where you have to really think about, okay, where are we playing this game? And if I play this game and I buy this game here, can I play it over here? Or say I want to play it on my Steam Deck
yeah,
at work, where do I play it? So now it got me thinking, okay, if I buy it on Steam, I can play it on my Steam Deck. So if I'm at, somewhere like, in the park or something, just chilling out and I want to play my Steam Deck or something, then I can do that.
yeah.
So you have to think about that
Hmm.
kind of stuff now. And you used to not have to think about it. It's when you got
Hmm.
home, you had your console on your little TV, and there you go. So,
Yeah,
but, but
that's right.
with that being said, let's get into the next section and talk a little bit about this game that we tried out, Gotham Knights, a little bit.
Let's do it.
What you
Let's
think?
get. Let's do it.
All right, guys. Look, today we got a good one. We was playing a little bit last night, like we talked about, and when we was playing a little bit, we was talking about Gotham Knights. We saw it on Game Pass. We both snatched it up. There's another perk of that. Just try it out since we're already paying a subscription. The only thing I'm going to throw out there right at the very beginning is the whole point of getting it was going to play a little co-op and play together. But we spent the past like hour of trying to get through as much as the story as we could, and they still say we have to progress more in the story before we can play together, which I thought was
Yeah,
completely ludicrous. Ludicrous.
yeah. It is a bit crazy. I mean, it seems like a cool game. It seems like they're trying to bridge the gap between a story-driven game and also how you can unlock, extra equipment, extra outfits, all that stuff. They're trying to make it kind of an online experience too, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I think the movement and stuff is a bit dumbed down compared to what it could be, but I think they did just enough to keep it interesting, and the fighting and stuff is pretty simple, but man, they do some bad A moves though.
Dude. Yeah,
Like
it's some
they get the
awesome
crap out of
moves.
people. And I unlocked an ability. I forget what it's called, but essentially, like I'm playing on the keyboard, so I just hit the number one after I build this up. After you build up the bar for it, you hit n- n- number one, and then she goes like, "Ah," and she just starts punching really fast and just beats the ever living crap out of whoever is on the other end of this.
Yeah, you're
And
Batgirl,
that's
right?
only one
Yeah.
ability that I've unlocked, so who knows what else there is that's gonna be really cool to try out. So I say we try to give it a chance and get to
Yeah.
it to where we can at least play together and see what
Well,
that experience is like, you know?
we would need to give it a chance. I will say this: what's kind of got me where I would want to go back to it is the graphics and the story so far is pretty
Oh,
good.
man.
Man, I
Yeah.
mean, when you started that game, I never expected to be watching like a movie at the beginning of that thing,
Yeah.
and it was like the longest cutscene where Batman actually dies in the
Yeah.
cutscene, and man, I'm telling you, it's pretty good, and you think it's over with. Like Gray was a little ahead of me, guys, and I kept saying, "Hey, are you done yet?" He's like, "Yeah, I think it's done," and then I keep watching. I'm like, "There's no way it's done." I was that far behind him. So about 10 minutes
Yeah.
later, I'll be like, "Hey, man, are you still watching this?" "Yeah, I'm still watching it." I'm like, "Dude, how long is this cutscene going to be?" You know, but
Yeah.
we definitely got to keep trying and maybe try the co-op and see how that goes. But it kind of reminds me of a Spider-Man. If anybody wants a comparison, the fighting style is kind of like the Spider-Man game where you dodge and then you hit. What's it called? Nightwalker? Walker? Is that what it is?
Uh, yeah, what's his
Nightwing?
name?
Nightwing?
Nightwing, that's him.
Nightwing. That's who I am. So anyways, definitely if we don't have much, we just played like an hour. But if
Yeah.
y'all get involved with it and you want to try it out, so far, you at least get to watch a very awesome cutscene at the at the beginning.
Yeah.
So
And it's developed on Unreal Engine 4, and I can't help but think, what would this be like if it was in Unreal Engine 5?
yeah.
You know, for it to run this good, like I turned on ray tracing, and I turned on what is it called? NVIDIA DLSS,
Oh yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
it
It
uses
upscales.
like AI learning upscale thing. Yeah. And I'm running it in 1440p on high settings, and looks great. And I don't have like a super super powerful laptop either. I mean, it's
Yeah,
got a 2070 Super in it, but man, this game runs like butter. And I've seen other games that look worse run a lot worse on my
yeah,
system. So
yeah,
um, I was very impressed with how beautiful it was, how the lighting was, and how smooth it ran, um, just like out of the box. So
yeah.
yeah, I think
I,
it's. Oh, did you lose me?
oh, you
Hello.
back? Yep, lost you just
Okay,
for a
yeah,
second, but we're good.
gotcha. Yeah, I was just gonna say that I enjoyed a lot traversing around the city too. Um, to get up high and to look around at all the fog and the atmospheric effects on everything was really
Hmm.
neat. It looks beautiful at night, and you also get a motorcycle during the day,
The
or no,
motorcycle,
during like all the time, I
it,
guess.
the motorcycle is
I've only
awesome. I
played at
was,
nighttime, so yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was really really cool.
Well, Gotham's only nighttime, right? Like
Yeah,
you don't,
it
you
seems
don't,
that way.
yeah. But I would say this: check out Gotham Knights if you haven't. It's worth a shot so far. We're going to give it a chance. It's definitely something that maybe after you get through it, you can play with your friends as well. So I would definitely recommend trying that game out, man. And it definitely if you're a Batman fan, everybody's kind of grown up watching the superheroes and stuff. Batman's not in it, but you have like Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and what's the red guy's name? I keep
Red
wanting to say
Hood,
Drop Shot, Red Hood. I keep wanting to say Drop
Red
Shot.
Hood.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
I think Drop Shot would have been
yeah.
a better name. But anyways, let's
So
go
yeah, I've been
into
playing as Batgirl, and her
yeah.
voice,
It's annoying.
whoever the voice actor is, yeah, I mean, like it's good sometimes, but then there's other times where it's like, holy crap, like they could kind of dial that in a little bit more.
It's funny that you said
Um,
that because I remember we was playing and I can hear her voice right in my playthrough, and I'm like, man, she sounds kind of annoying. So I tell Josh, I was like, Josh, man, it's like your girl sounds annoying, bro. He's like, yeah, I know, man. She's terrible. Like she's probably the sweetest girl now. Let me say that, but like her
no,
voice,
I'm
man.
sure she's
Oh,
great.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and yep. I could say other things about it, but I'm not going to. We'll just
Yeah.
move
All
on.
right, let's go into the last section with Hellblade. Man, let me
Yes,
have it, man.
Hellblade.
Tell me about the VR Hellblade. That is what I'm concentrating
Uh,
on here because I have not experienced
so
that, and I'm dying to know, is it worth it?
yeah, so I was so excited about talking about it that I kind of talked about some of it earlier when I talked about my gaming moment of the week. But essentially, I was expecting to hop inside this experience and you to be controlling or maybe swinging around a sword. I didn't know what they were going to do, but instead, it seems like they took an artistic approach to how they approached VR with Hellblade, to where she's interacting with you, just like she does on the flat screen version,
Yeah.
but you're actually there, third person VR, much like it would be if, I guess, she's like schizophrenic, bipolar,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, maybe has extra people in her head. And it's like you're that extra person there floating behind her. And you can hear all the other voices and stuff. She'll turn around and talk to you some. And there's also a part at the very beginning where she talks to some man. She's like imagining that she sees him, and I believe they show like the real person in the VR
Oh,
experience. It looks like a real person there. Um,
but can you
it's
imagine with the VR experience, like you actually experiencing what it's like to be hearing those voices like that for real,
yeah,
like the
it's
immersiveness of
very
it?
freaky. Yeah, it's very freaky, but it's also like I wasn't as scared. I was more just like, "Whoa, this is really neat,"
Yeah.
watching the story unfold. Yeah, and it's also good because I haven't hopped in VR in quite a while, and
Mm-hmm.
usually when I do, I play a lot of games that you have to stand, you might have to like shoot or grab things. Well, it's nice just to be in a game, and the only thing that controls inside of VR that's not a controller is like my head. I can look a direction and she'll kind of walk that way some, but I'm controlling her mainly with an Xbox controller. So I get to chill in my chair and play this game and like look around, and I don't have to stand up and do stuff. And that's fun every now and then to do that inside a VR to where you're not,
Yeah.
having to move around and stuff. Um but I was just amazed that I could grab this game for $3. Like
As
3
you keep saying,
three
yeah.
bucks, and to get this experience from it already,
Yeah.
it's well worth the money. And yeah, there's gonna be a lot more moments, I believe, that happen that I'm gonna probably talk about next week.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of want to
Well,
go into like Hellblade game. Let's see, the game engine, what they're using. So
yeah.
this is also using Unreal Engine 4, the same engine as the game we just talked about.
Yeah, in the
Gotham
next
Knight.
yeah, and but Hellblade 2 is coming out actually, and I think they're on Unreal Engine 5. If I
Dude.
remember correctly. I mean I don't know,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to be switched over to
That's what's
Unreal
so
Engine 5.
crazy is like even in VR, which usually can like push your system a little bit, it looks amazing. And I even have my computer in the lowest mode of like as far as how much power it's going to give to the graphics and everything.
Yeah.
I got it in the lowest mode just to keep the temperatures down, and it still runs really good in VR. Everything is on high, like um and it's just smooth as it can be and looks great. So I think everything on the Unreal Engine platform just is so proficient on how it runs. And I'm excited for the next one. So just for a little bit of backstory, um, I want to kind of go in. Let's see. So the game is set in late eighth century. The game starts with Senua, which is played by Melina Jurgens, a picked warrior from Orkney arriving at the border of Helheim in a quest to save the soul of her dead lover Dylan from the goddess Hela. So there's a lot of lore here that maybe
Mm-hmm.
intertwines with what's going on.
Some really good
Um,
fighting too. That's in that game.
yeah.
Um,
So
I
I've
played
only
about three
fought a
quarters of
few
it.
of them.
So
It's
so
cool how you block, and you have a light attack
yeah,
and a heavy attack, and it's really cool to like be there in VR and watch this happening too.
yeah.
So
That's awesome. Well, we
so
definitely
you
look for.
actually beat the game?
No, I'm like three quarters of the way, I believe, and I just for some
Okay.
reason I think I stopped or something. I played on the Xbox
Yeah.
Series X. Um, I need to get it again though. Definitely, if it's $3, I can probably get it for Steam, and I don't know if the save data
Well,
go or do it on Xbox.
you already
On
got it.
PC.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
we
I
did
just
the
like to
game
have
share, so
stuff. I like. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
yeah,
I
so
just want to
because
get my
this isn't a
saves.
multiplayer game,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's the only thing with it. But I think I got so many games I'm trying to play right now. It's like trying to beat. Like
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say I'm still trying to beat Alan Wake as we talk. So,
No, yeah.
but
There's a lot to that though, like, I get it, and if you ever decide to come down and hunt, like, you can totally try the VR experience here,
well, I'm gonna need you to talk to my
or the
chief if you
internet.
don't mind with Mardi Gras coming up and seeing if he had just let me off. If you don't mind, I appreciate that. So,
I'll talk to him, I don't have anything to
yeah.
lose. I'll talk to him.
I
"What's
like it.
up,
I like the
dude?"
confidence. Man, with that being said, I got to hop off of here. I got the fence guy here to try to do some
"Oh, okay.
help me out. But it's been a great show. I appreciate everybody coming in. I'm going to play a little bit our outro music and kind of go and get out of here, man. What you think?
Alright, let's do it, bro."
All I'm going to say is I appreciate all you guys. Appreciate you stopping in, especially if you're tuning in live right now. On YouTube or on Twitch every Sunday. Videos drop Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Our podcast will drop Monday morning for sure because I think Gray handles that. But make sure you can catch us, like we said, on YouTube podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Podcasts. What am I leaving out, Gray?
And if you wanna reach out with any questions, comments, maybe you could share your favorite gaming moment of the week, you can reach out at ggratedchannel@gmail.com. That's ggratedchannel@gmail.com.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, thank you again for stopping in. Hope you enjoyed the show. Check out Gotham Knights if you haven't, and also Hellblade. I know it's a little older one, but it's a great pickup to do, especially in VR, as Gray said. So, guys, see y'all later.